Hello, Kyle here with Lake Vermilion Houseboats doing an orientation video for a 42-foot cruiser. Underneath the motor cover here is our outboard. The first thing we do is we have our staff trim the outboard up so our guests can take pictures of the prop and lower unit before their trip. Next thing we go over is the generator. On this houseboat here, you get a Yamaha 6300. The couple cords here. So the 30 amp plug here is what feeds power to inside the houseboat. And the 1 tag cord here is what powers your hot tub. So how our generators work is anytime you're trying to use electrical outlet inside the houseboats. On this boat could be microwave, coffee maker. There's a electric fireplace up in the front galley running the hot tub. Anytime you're maybe using the TV, basically anytime you're plugging in anything to an outlet, the generator has to run. That's what feeds power to the outlets. And also while the generator is running, is it's charging our deep cycle batteries. Our deep cycle batteries power our overhead lights. They power our water pressure pump. They also power the thermostat on the refrigerator. So we always tell our guests we want them to run the generator a minimum of 3 hours a day continuously, and that'll keep those batteries charged up so that you have working lights, running water, and a working fridge. So again, you can run the generator longer than 3 hours a day, but we want minimum use a day, 3 hours a day continuous use with the generator. In this box right here is we have our propane tank. So our propane is, we have a propane heater inside the cabin in here. Also our fridge condenser runs off propane as well as the oven and the stovetop. So here's your propane tanks, and they're always topped off before your trip. If you are here during one of our colder seasons, maybe using the heater a lot, you do need to keep an eye on your propane. So maybe every day come out, maybe lift it up. When they're empty, they get very light. We make sure you just keep an eye on your propane. We can bring more out during your trip as need be. Also on the back deck here, maybe a little bit covered, but we do have gas jugs right here. That is for the generator usage. So now we'll go up on the top deck and we'll go over the hot tub and also go over the steering up on the top deck. So now we're up on the top roof of our 42-foot cruiser. It's a little windy today. I'm going to try to speak loudly so you can hear me. So first thing we go over is the hot tub. Main thing with the hot tub is keep the lid on and keep the straps on when you're not using it. That's very critical. When you're not using the hot tub, lid on and strapped on. On the straps, there's a number code. Basically, the number code needs to read 00 to lock and unlock the straps. So 00, if you move it, that's like the child-proof, it won't open. It needs to be 00 to unlock. But again, make sure the lid is on and strapped when you're not using it. Always tell our guests every time they run the generator to physically come up here, hit the jets button to turn on the jets. Jets button right here. And then the arrow is arrow up or arrow down. Then you can arrow up to get to 104 temperature is the max temp on this unit. So I always tell our guests, every time you're running the generator, physically walk up here, hit the jets, turn the jets on, and dial up the temperature to 104. That's going to be the max heating potential of this unit. And then the other thing we always recommend is you don't want more than 2 adults in here at once. You would lose a lot of volume displacement if you put too many people in here. It's a 2-person hot tub. So the main thing is 2 people at one time. Otherwise, you lose a lot of volume displacement. When you do so, we do not want the guests adding lake water. That is very bad. So conserve the water you have. Keep the lid on when you're not using it. Come up here, jets on, temp up to 104 every time you run the generator. That's going to keep your hot tub nice and warm throughout your stay. Now we'll go over the top helm up here in the houseboat. So very simple operation here. So we always have the guests start the houseboat down at the main helm, down in the galley. We'll go over that further in the video here. So at this point, the motor is already running. You come up here. It's this button right here is the button that you push to gain control of your shifter. So again, walk up here, make sure the shifter's in neutral. So that would be forward, that's neutral, that's reverse, make sure it's in neutral. You'll hit this button right here to gain control of the shifter, and you'll get a red light right here. So walk up here, hit the button, red light, then you can drive from up here. So forward, neutral, reverse, throttle, and then here's your RPM tack right here for your RPMs. 3,000 RPM tack, and of course your steering wheel right here. So that's the top deck of our 42-foot cruiser. We're going to go down inside the cabin. So now we're inside the cabin of our 42-foot cruiser. First thing in here is the binder on the kitchen table. Has useful information in here. There's usually kind of a segment in here of our fishing regulations on our lake, kind of an introduction to Lake Vermilion houseboats, some kind of quick, some food and activities on the lake, as well as all the information on our mooring sites. Very useful information, what type of shoreline structure, is there a fire pit, different stuff like that. Also hours from base. Please check that out while you're here at our stay. Also on the freezer here, we have an informational sheet. So you want to make sure you look at that, become familiar with this. Has basically our bullet tabs of our fleet and kind of what you need to know during your stay. On the refrigerator here is an inventory list. So basically kitchenware and stuff, dishware. If you're looking for stuff, check here. If it's on here, it's going to be on your houseboat. Thing with I'll go over the freezer and fridge. Main thing is inside the refrigerator, we do have a thermometer. You can't see it right there, but there's a thermometer back there that'll give you a reading of your fridge temperature. One thing that we do have some issues with during our warmer seasons is guests will come in, they open the fridge, and they just really load it up with food. And these fridges just need some time to cool down. They will be on and cold when you get here, but if you come in here and just load it up with a bunch of food out of your cooler, it may take a while for it to cool down. So keep an eye on your thermometer. Don't overload the fridge. Maybe keep some stuff in some coolers, and as you're usually by the next morning after your first night, the fridge is caught up. But that's just a little tip for our guests. And then also up here, there's as long as you're not getting a check light on your refrigerator or on their fridge freezer, everything is working the way it should be. Some people come in here again, they overload it. Kyle, it's not working. But again, as long as the check light is not on, everything is working the best it can. So also in here in the galley is our heater inside the galley here. I'll just go around and do this real quick. So this knob over here would be on the right side of the unit. You basically push that in. And then while you're pushing it in, there's a striker button on the left side. You turn on the striker. You want to hold this in. I'm not going to wait as long, but somewhere up to 10 to 30 seconds. You kind of want a little flare up on this mat. Once you get the flare up on the mat, when you release this to go to the different settings, the pilot light does go out, and that's normal. So after you release this, the pilot light goes out, and you would turn the knob to low, medium, or high. And the only way you know that it's working is just kind of hold your hand here. You don't want to walk away from it until you know it's working and running. If you're getting heat right here, you know it's working, so now you can safely walk away. You just want to make sure it's on before you leave the unit on. So, and then when you're done with it, just turn it in the off position. Right up here in the corner up here is our smoke alarm and our carbon monoxide alarm. Our staff will go through that during the walkthrough orientation, make sure those are working for you. And then I'll go over the toilet here inside the houseboat here. So in this toilet here is one of our older style toilets. So it has kind of a two function. So it has a way to fill the basin, also just the main flush. So what we tell our guests is down for number one, up for number two. So down, you just open the valve opens up into the septic tank. If number two, you lift up on the lever, it fills the basin up with water. So if you're taking a number two, the solids can have something to float in, and then of course be flushed down and done. So, and then under here is some other stuff. We usually have our toilet paper in here, and there are some scent deodorizers if your septic is smelling a little bit, first aid kit and whatnot. So, now we'll walk up into the kind of the living room helm area of the houseboat. So here's our living room and helm area. Thing we go over here is so we do have here in the corner we have a smart TV. So the way our smart TV works is you'd have to use your phone as a wireless hotspot to connect to the TV, and then from there you can stream your Netflix and all your streaming services that you need. Up on this panel up on the wall here is our different switches. This is your 30 amp. That just needs to be on. And then of course these are labeled here. So this is what your microwave, battery charger, TV. These are the outlets, and of course the fireplace of the houseboat. Coming up here to the kind of the main the helm here. These switches right here. Okay, so Mainly the running lights. We don't have functioning running lights on the houseboat. We don't want you out after dark. We want the houseboats moored up by 6 p.m. each evening. So we want you at your mooring site by 6 p.m. each evening. Of course, this switch runs refrigerator, so keep that on. We do not power the horn. We don't want our guests making noise on the lake. Cabin lights, of course, would be your cabin lights. Water heater, the not labeled is off. Deck lights, keep that on. And then this is your water pressure switch. So of all these switches, the only one you ever need to monkey with during your trip is the water pressure switch. We want you to turn that off if you're cruising on the lake. There is a chance you could deep prime your water lines and burn up your water pump if you happen to be trying to run water while you're cruising. So the main thing is keep the water pressure switch off when you're cruising. If you're on the lake and need to use some water, just come down to idle speed. You can turn the water on to wash your hands, use the restroom, but then keep that water pressure switch off as you're cruising on the lake. Excuse me. Paper map here. Also have our Humminbird GPS. We do have a separate orientation video strictly for our Humminbird and our paper map. So please watch that on our YouTube channel. That is probably the most important video you can watch if you're coming up here to watch any of our videos. So again, Humminbird, paper map, orientation video on our YouTube channel. Please watch that. Basically what I'll do here is, being that this boat has the 2 helms for driving that has electric shifter, I'll kind of go over how to do that. So I'm gonna have Joy come over here and I'll show you some more switches over here. So here on the right side of the steering wheel is a couple more switches. Of course, that'll run your stereo. This spare switch is what powers the GPS that needs to be on. The engine instrument, so this is an important switch. So this is what powers your shifter. So every time whenever the motor is not running, we want to keep this off. So again, motor not running, keep that switch off. Okay, that's very important. When you go to start your motor, first thing you do is you'll turn the switch on. And when I do this, when I turn this switch on, my shifter is going to start beeping at me. And then when I hit this button right here, I'll gain control of this shifter. So first thing is turn the switch on. You're going to hear some beeping. Now hit your button right here. And then you have your red light. All right, now this shifter's in control. So that's why it was beeping. It either wanted the shifter on control here or up on the helm. So after you have control of the shifter, go ahead and start your motor. So at this point, motor is running. You have control of your shifter. Now you can, the boat is ready to be powered. So this is forward gear and then throttle. There's an RPM tach. You just watch your RPM tach up here. And then it'd be reverse and then throttle reverse. So the main thing is with this shifter is you don't want to get too quick with it. You want to let it shift, give it a good second before you advance throttle. And then come back to neutral. Let it shift to reverse, wait a good second before you advance throttle. At this point, when the motor is running and you're in neutral, this is where you could go up to the top helm. You would hit the button up there and gain control with the shifter up there. So that is how you operate the shifter. So again, engine instrument switch is off when the motor is not running. You turn it on, you get the beeping, you hit the button, you get the red light, start the motor. And then from there, you could change shifters up at the top helm if you wanted to. But we want to do, since we have the GPS here, we want to do most of our driving inside the helm here, where you can navigate safely on the lake. So go ahead and turn this off. And then I do have to show the heater here real quick. I'll be right back. I just have to give some electricity into the houseboat. So the fireplace here in the front galley of our 42-foot cruiser is an electric fireplace, so the generator has to be running to power this. So to power this unit on, there's a main power switch, so you can just power it. It lights up so that you know it has power. This does confuse people. They think that they turn this on, that it should automatically run. So you have to press a couple more buttons. So after it's powered on, you would hit heater. You actually hit the button. That actually turns on the unit, okay? And there is a flame setting that you could have as ambiance. So the main thing is just because power the unit on, hit heat, that actually turns the heating element on, okay? That's how this unit operates. So and then also there's a note up here. Because of the amps this draws is we do not want you running the fireplace and the microwave at the same time. So again, do not run the fireplace and the microwave at the same time. You'll probably overload the circuit, and the switch right here for this unit is up here. You just have to reset this top switch here, if you'd happen to trip the trip the breaker, just needs to be reset. So when you have the green light, you know you have power. So now we'll go on the front deck. All right, front deck here on the 42-foot cruiser. We have our charcoal grill out here. This is our plank for bridging the gap between the houseboat and shore at our mooring sites. Usually have some deck chairs, our garbage barrel out here. We have a table out here. So we also have an orientation video of mooring the houseboat. So please watch that. That's a very useful video. But this concludes our orientation video for 42-foot cruiser.